Now, I'm wondering then, you had mentioned the higher order. Does that mean, is there a sense that higher is better, or are these transitional realms equally as important?
They are equally as important. I'm not hierarchical in my view of things. I tend to view the inner worlds as an ecology, and so I see them as possessing different, the equivalent of different bioregions, I guess you'd say. Mm-hmm. What I call the higher order worlds, what I mean by that is that they occupy a higher number of dimensions, more dimensions than we do. So I could call them the many order worlds.
Okay, sure.
The multidimensional worlds. Now, it is true that there definitely are beings, and they can be found anywhere. They can be found in physical embodiment, as far as that goes, they're just much better wine glasses. That is, they are more evolved in a spiritual way. They're able to hold spiritual energy more effectively. They're able to radiate it. They're very loving, very gracious people. You don't have to be a multidimensional being to be like that, but many multidimensional beings are like that, and are in fact, let's see, I guess you'd say further along or more capable of revealing all the flavors and bouquets of the wine of which they're made.
How much of that is reliant on our imagination, so our interpretation of that in appreciating the bouquet or and the wine glass?
Excellent question, Nina, and there's no doubt that our own character comes into play here, because I've had friends, I'm sure you have too. This I'm sure is a common experience, but I've had friends whom I like a great deal, and we get on very well, and I've only ever experienced the best from them, mm-hmm. Their loving nature, their humorous nature, or whatever. But I've had other friends who, know these same people and say, "Wow, he's such a negative person," or I just can't stand to be with him, or and why they can't understand why I am so positive about them. But yet, in the relationship that I've had with these particular people, it's always been very positive, and they've never demonstrated anything other than a very loving and kind relationship. But I understand that. I can see the dynamics of it. That with in these other relationships, they get rubbed the wrong way.
Sure. Yep.
So all I'm really saying is that there's a subjective element to every relationship, and it brings out qualities in a relationship that are unique, that may not be there when those same people relate to other people. So if I'm relating to, I may encounter a being who's by some objective standard is not highly evolved. I'm not sure what that objective standard would be, but let's just say there is one, and it's on some measure it's not highly evolved. But in the relationship with me, it's able to stimulate something in me that is exactly what I need to make my next steps in growth. I don't have to look at inner beings for that. I've had experiences in my life where I've known people who are basically uneducated by a number of different measures, but in that moment, they were able to offer me a wisdom and insights that I really needed, and that, as far as I was concerned, that person was my teacher in that moment. And that quality of being in the presence of a teacher is not some larger measure of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I may encounter a being who's genuinely radiant and loving and highly evolved in a spiritual way, and it might be that I can't comprehend that, or I can't take it in, or I can't relate to it, and so for all practical purposes, this being may in fact become an irritant to me. I'm upset by its presence rather than benefited by it. So yes, there is this subjective element that comes into play. I may project onto a being that it's more evolved than it actually is.
Hi there, my name is Nina Wallinder, and I wanted to talk to you about Layers of Health. Layers of Health is a free online community dedicated to investigating holistic and alternative health options. These options can include physical health, mental and emotional health, business health, as well as your spiritual health. So you can join me as I discuss your health concerns with various experts, mentors, and leaders in their fields. And these interviews are offered for free live, as well as during special encore presentations. But if you find one that is particularly interesting to you, you can also purchase it. So you can join me at www.layersofhealth.com, and I'll see you on the calls.